Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time again for the Unfiltered News from the Reality Zone, where political correctness is not spoken here. Compiled by G. Edward Griffin, and with the help of his news scouts. This is the Unfiltered News for September 28th through October 4th, 2013. And these are things that indicate video slideshows, speaker indicates audio, star indicates article worth printing and keeping, asterisk indicates an amazing event or phenomenon. And we happen to have one of these this week, amazingly enough. Now to this week's comic strip. Da-da-da-da. That's right. Welcome to Obamaville, where the IRS, NSA, FBI, and the DOJ are just waiting for you to take advantage of you, to rob you, and anything else they can think of. Yes, indeedy. You're going to love the Abomination Care. It's going to be the finest death panel ever put together in the history of mankind. Anywho, let's just go on to the headlines that you may have missed for this week. And let's start with Washington District of Criminals. Police shot and killed an unarmed mother traveling with her baby who was driving erratically at a checkpoint near the White House. Later reports revealed that she was on prescription drugs for a psychiatric condition, so she may have been frightened and confused by what appeared to be a military confrontation. The baby was unharmed, though, but they're not allowing her or any of the relatives or anything to see the baby or the body. Interesting. Infowars, October 4th. Yeah, I should have seen some of the chase scenes where the cops, I don't know where she was, I didn't see her car, but I saw this cop, and the cop up there in D.C. going 80 miles an hour and just plows right through a barricade. I mean, he was doing 80 and he hit that thing head on. He ended up sideways on down the road 50 feet or maybe 50 yards. He didn't stop until after that. But it was interesting. Somebody was filming with their iPhone and caught that. Amazingly. Alrighty, that was for Infowars, yes, October 4th. Next article, the value of bitcoins dropped and then partially rebounded after the FBI shut down the website for the Silk Road, a black market bazaar on the internet that traded $1.2 billion in illegal drugs in exchange for bitcoins. The Silk Road had been the biggest user of bitcoins. USA Today, October 3rd. Imagine that. But anything can be used for money, even bitcoins. What's that? Representative Steve King, Republican of Iowa, has written an amendment to the Farm Bill that would remove the state's power to impose their own standards on products that are brought in from out of state. It consolidates all power into the federal government. See, taking away states' powers. State is the 10th Amendment rights, and they're trying to get rid of them. I mean, this little 10-mile square area called District of Criminals has to go. Has to be shut down, restarted, and all the characters there replaced with new blood because they're all corrupted and I mean, just really corrupted, controlled, and paid off. They no longer work for we the people. They work for them the lobbyists and themselves. That's what's going on with that. Oh man, New American, October 3rd. Man. Oh man. Here we go. Video. Israel is paying college students to make positive pro-Israel comments on social media sites to combat anti-Semitism and criticism of the Palestinian occupation. Ironically, the founder of this program was caught making racist anti-Palestinian comments on Facebook. Russia Today, October 3rd. What hypocrites. Hypocrite, isn't it? You know what you call a hypocrite? Next article. Guess what? Buying who? Monsanto has purchased Climate Corporation, a company that insures farmers against bad weather. The company uses historical data to predict the weather. Now be on the lookout for Monsanto to acquire geoengineering companies that have the capability to control the weather. If you can create the weather, it's easy to predict it. Forbes, October 2nd. And next, U.S. Finally, chickens will no longer be fed arsenic, which is kind of a good thing, thinking about eating arsenic because it makes their breasts bigger. Following years of criticism from food safety groups, the FDA has banned nearly all uses of arsenic additive in animal feed. Take part, October 2nd. Yep, at least some things, good things are happening, and then there's a lot of really bad things happening in the world today. Next, U.S. bureaucrats could be fined or imprisoned if they violate a 143-year-old law called the Anti-Deficiency Act that forbids the government from taking on new monetary obligations that have not been appropriated by Congress. In reality, however, there is no chance of this happening because the law allows exceptions if needed to protect lives and property. Therefore, the big spenders simply need to declare that this is the case. And those who daily violate the Constitution will have no problem violating the Anti-Deficiency Act. NBC News, October 2nd. Yeah, I mean, look at it. They don't follow anything in the Constitution. They just make up crap on their own as they go. Obama can't tell us truth. He can't tell a single truth. Everything he comes out, I can't even listen to him anymore because I know he's lying. Everything comes out of his mouth is a big lie. Blaming somebody else. He knows he's the one responsible for everything, the shutdown and all that. He's personally responsible. He's personally responsible for picking out what gets shut down, personally. And he's picking anything that will hurt the American people and make them mad at Republicans because that's who he's pointing his finger at. And I know it's the same bird with a red wing and a blue wing on this bird. And there's no difference between them. This is all circus. This is all theater. That's just what we're under. We're under a big theater act. Ooh, it's making me mad. It really is. It made me rant. Next, Iran's cyber warfare commander was assassinated. Israel's leader, Netanyahu, has been dismissive of Iran's diplomatic efforts to avoid war with the West and is trying to create support for an attack. Wolf, wolf, wolf. Yes, he's the one that's... And you look up the story of the boy who cried wolf. His picture is in the... big picture on the first page. The Mossad, Israel's counterpart to the CIA, has been implicated in the assassination of 5 Iranian nuclear scientists and a weapons specialist, which has caused many observers to suspect that the Mossad may have been responsible. You think? Anti-war, October 2nd. Next article of really good interest here. California passed the Liberty Preservation Act that makes it state policy to reject indefinite detention powers from the federal government. California's law is broad in scope, preventing any federal law from imposing indefinite detention for any reason. Virginia and Alaska and a number of local governments also have passed similar legislation. TAC, that October 1st. See? Nobody likes the or whatever. Oh man, don't come to me. Never mind. I'm thinking off my course here. Let me get to the next story. Video. U.S. legendary investor Jim Rogers explains that politicians are merely threatening a government shutdown and pretending a budget cut, when in fact it is just a charade to impress the naive public. He says the government will not shut down and the debt will continue to increase. There will be no default anytime soon because the government, with the help of the Federal Reserve, can print all the money it needs, which passes the cost on to the citizens in the form of a hidden tax called inflation. Russia Today, October 1st. And you know it's inflated. If you just go to the store and you just go into the bacon, where the bacon is in the store, and it went from $2.99, it's now up over almost $7 a pound for bacon, for like Oscar Mayer's and stuff, name brand stuff. It used to be like $2.99, and now look at it. I mean, that's how you can tell. And that's only been like a few months I started noticing that. Maybe beginning of this year, I noticed bacon was starting to go up. You know, it would go up and it would drop back down. It would go up. Now it's up, and it's when they drop it down, it goes from $6 to like $4.99. It's not dropping like it used to. Here's another one of these hidden taxes. U.S. Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew, in an attempt to avoid a debt default expected on October 17th, has taken what he calls extraordinary measures. They include borrowing $23 billion from an emergency fund meant to stabilize the U.S. dollar and making a $9 billion debt swap. Debt swaps are an exchange of one kind of debt for another, but it's all smoke and mirrors. In the end, the debt ceiling will be raised and the short-term loanness will be paid off with newly created money from the Federal Reserve, or the Infernal Reserve as it should be called, and the cost will be passed on to the public as inflation. USA Today, October 1st. Yes, you're going to see that $5 a loaf of bread, or just a regular loaf of bread, coming soon, and it will go up from there. Next story, U.S. The Oath Keepers are organizing their 30,000 members to form a civilian preservation teams at the town and county level. The goal is to provide community security and support in a crisis and to offer leadership at such a time. Based on a special forces model, they will prepare communities to provide their own security, disaster relief, infrastructure preservation, emergency communications, food reserves, and medical care in emergency events. Membership is open to everyone, so go and join up today and become a member of the special forces model of community preservation. Because if the power goes out, the grid goes out for any reason, there's going to start being disaster. It's going to be snowball effect rolling down the hill. As soon as something like that happens, the power goes out. We have another false flag event like 9/11 or something. You know, it could spark off just downright chaos everywhere. And martial law. I mean, I was hearing stories that they were passing martial law signs were being delivered to Indiana and upstate New York and all over the place up in there, up in the Northwest and around. I mean, there were people who spotted them and reported them. I don't know about that. Their signs. They're getting ready for something. Something is going to happen between now and the 17th of October. And they're not saying what it is. Some say it may be a meteor fall from the sky. And some say it might be, there might be just the money just collapses. Anyways, the market collapses. Wall Street gambling joint closes down. Anything like that. Okay. Next. Video, Texas. The Dallas Sheriff Department has taken delivery of a military war zone vehicle designed to withstand mines and missile attacks. What the hell is this guy expecting? Other states have done the same. So it is clear that local police are becoming increasingly militarized and believe that war zone conditions could soon exist in the U.S. Russia Today, September 30th. There you go. I mean, they've been doing this, the 1.6 billion rounds. They're expecting something. Something's coming over the horizon. You can almost see the glow of its headlights. Whatever it is, it's coming like a train wreck. That's where it's coming. Next, Venezuela. President Nicolas Maduro ordered the expulsion of top U.S. diplomat and 2 embassy staffers. He says they met with his opposition to fund them and encourage them to sabotage the economy and power system with electricity blackouts. AFP, September 30th. Our government's going around and causing these situations and then saying these people are dictators? Who is acting like what? Tell me that. Who in the world is acting more like a dictator than anyone else? I can name 2 countries. But I'll just leave that up to you, because you know what the two countries are. And they both love each other. They're in a dance of death with each other. Anywho, the Obamacare website has quietly deleted references to free health care. See? It's already, they had to pull one of their falsehoods down, one of the things they were lying about. Free health care. It's not free. Information about free dental care and prescription drugs also was removed. Imagine that. Apparently because the government needs paying subscribers to soften the coming cost overruns. Weekly Standard, September 30th. I'm telling you, abomination care is the worst thing that ever happened to this country. And it's gonna shut us down. It's gonna absolutely destroy the country. And that picture that you see in some places on the web, it shows Obama with his arms crossed and it's all destroyed and burning behind him. He says, my job here is done. And it will be. His job will be done. He will have brought this country, the once great America, down to a third world country. And that's what he's up to. That's what he's working on. And they're going as fast as they can with Dungy Reed out there. Dingy Harry Reid. That guy's a piece of work. He's the biggest socialist commie I think I've ever seen in government. I can't believe he's there in that position. I hope that his constituents vote his ass out this time. He needs to go. Pelosi needs to go. All these people that's causing all these problems for the last 6 years gotta go. They all gotta go. And we can't let them stay. They gotta go. Next, U.S. new study shows what everyone already knows. The war on drugs is a failure. It hasn't had no effect on the $350 billion per year international drug trade. Heroin, cocaine, marijuana have become more potent and more accessible despite law enforcement raids and the seizures. That's because law enforcement funding would shrink if the so-called war on drugs came to an end. Also, if drugs were not illegal, their costs would plummet. The drug lords would lose billions in profits. Law enforcement and drug lords depend on each other to sustain profitability on both sides. Problem, reaction, solution. And they both are happy working together. They kind of like throw bones at each other. You know, they'll let some of these drugs slide on the drug enforcement side, and then on the other side, they will let some of their people get captured, and so they can parade and stand up with their uniforms and badges and go, look, we're important. We're worth the taxpayers' money that you're paying for us. Keep it coming. We're doing our job. No, you're not. You're like the FBI. You stage everything. Stage patsies and think that people are going to believe it after things come out later on. You find out things are happening. FBI, the only reason they're doing that is because the Department of Homeland Security took their job. They basically are worthless and have no purpose. They're like Wadsworth, the librarian. They have no purpose anymore. And they're worthless. So that's why we got to legalize drugs, so we put both out of business. We need to get rid of the business of being the war on drugs force, the DEA, and then the drug lords. We can get rid of them real fast. You know, as soon as you legalize everything, people will be growing or whatever, and the price is going to drop and plummet. It will plummet. A dime will be a dime again, you know. A dime bag will cost a dime. A nickel bag a nickel. I mean, shit. This is what will probably happen. All we have to do is get our hands around it and say, well, we got to control it like alcohol. I mean, alcohol is worse. We need to actually cut down on alcohol and increase the marijuana so people will get their senses back of what it is to be good and look at others as equals instead of competition and enemies and stuff. Well, anyways, I'm starting to rant again. I get good at that at times. Okay, here we go. Next article. U.S. Ron Paul explains that the looming threat of government shutdown will not make the country collapse. He points out that both parties support a budget that is bloated with military spending. The so-called cuts are really only a 2% decrease in future spending. That's all it is. Don't you know? This is the RPI. Oh, I believe that means Ron Paul Independent. September 29th. Next article. The NSA has been mapping American social connections since 2010. The program uses your phone and internet metadata, bank records, yes, and insurance information, yeah, your Facebook profiles, passenger manifest, voter registration rolls, and GPS tracking information. But don't worry, it's all for your security against terrorism, don't you know? Daily Caller, September 29th. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. We need to get rid of these alphabets. There's too many alphabets. Hey, now look at this. This is what's going to make everything worse. A Dutch scientist has created a matchstick-sized microphone that remotely picks up outdoor conversations, even whispers, and can pinpoint one voice from among many in a crowd. It is the ultimate spy microphone. Governments, of course, are expected to be the primary customers. New Scientist posted September 28th. Tiny microphones. And shrunk them down. This is the one I was talking about. They used the Astra. This is it right here. Video. 14-year-old builds working nuclear reactor in garage. There it is. It's a functioning nuclear reactor. Model size, of course, but to see this and see how he got hold of the materials and everything, that'd be another thing. To build such a thing. If it's actually operational. Video. Huntsville, Texas. Dan Phillips explains why humans are wasteful and how he has used over 300 tons of trash from landfills as building materials for his whimsical home built for the poor. And he's quite a philosopher as well. Ted posted October 4th. You gotta check it out. Another hero out there doing something instead of throwing money at it. Video. Max Kaiser compares the U.S. economy to one giant hedge fund run by financial jihadists. It's like my best impression of him at this moment. Bankers. He says that Wall Street traders and politicians care only about immediate profits because if they fail, they know they will be bailed out by Congress at taxpayers' expense. Max gets pretty vocal about this sad state of affairs, and with good reason. Russia Today, October 2nd. Check that out. It's one giant, I've watched it. He gets on there and says, yeah, it's this one giant gambling casino or hedge fund waiting to fail. And that's all Wall Street really is. It's a gambling hall where the customers always win, apparently, and the workers always lose. Imagine having a casino where you go in there and you spend all your money and lose it all. And you go up to the counter and say, I lost all my money and I can't get it back. And they go, well, we'll go around and ask for money from all the waitresses and the servers and the bartender, and we'll get your money back. That's about what they're doing when they do these bailouts. It's what the American people are, the workers in the casino. And they're going around taking the money from the workers to pay back the gambler. Oh, man. Video. Financial analyst Matt Taibbi, I believe, and radio host Sam Seder have fun critiquing CNBC's defense of Jamie Dimon, I think it's Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, despite his numerous crimes. CNBC anchors even attacked guest reporter Alex Perini, I think that's how it's pronounced, who insists that making a profit does not excuse theft and fraud. And he's right. Making a profit doesn't make you above the laws. Majority Report, September 30th. Unbelievable, isn't it? But they get away with it. It's one to keep. Video. James Corbett. provides an excellent analysis on how the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has manipulated and misinterpreted science to justify global taxes and control over governments and populations. This is the Kober report, posted September 28th. And he's absolutely right in this video. He actually points it out. He actually points out all these things. And he mentions everything. He mentions all the stuff. Like, they had these wherever they're taking these readings were always put near heat sources or in cities or places where it's always hot. Hotter than it is out in the countryside. And they're using that data saying, look, the whole world's warming up. And it's a lie. It's all fake. It's a lie. They fudged everything. They didn't even put solar activity as an effect in the weather climate change. You see, it's getting cold out there because the sun is really inactive right now. It's really, really low. It's been shooting off maybe in the last 24 hours a couple of C flares. But mostly it's been down in the B's. And at one point it was even below the B's. It was in the A flares, which is really just regular operating functioning of the sun. The dynamics of the sun. But this is just unbelievable. The IPCC is a criminal organization because they're trying to get a carbon tax, a breathing tax. That's what it comes down to. And thinking about that, I want to mention this while I'm on this. Talking about scams like the Obamacare. Obamacare is nothing to me. Obamacare is basically a living tax. You pay us this tax and we'll let you live. That's about how the Obamacare is working, because if you don't, we're going to fine you. And we're going to fine you more and more if you don't join up and give us your money. It's another scam. It's a Ponzi scheme thought up by the government to make money. That's all it is. It's thought up by Hillary and Pelosi and Harry Reid and company, and they all got together with the insurance companies. And they've heavily invested money in these insurance companies that you're going to get and pay, and they're going to make buku bucks off their stocks. You just go hide and see that these evil creatures, cretins, and Washington District of Criminal are going to make out like bandits because they created this thing for the insurance company which they are invested in. That sounds like something illegal, doesn't it? It should sound illegal, because it is. Alright, here we go to the next one here. Here's the last of the articles. Dr. Fred's Healthcare Rescue, the real solution to healthcare. A book review. Dr. Fred blows the lid off the healthcare scandal, the crime of the century, with far more victims, believe it or not, than resulted from the terrible Nazi Holocaust. Tens of millions of people have watched dear loved ones, suffer ill health, die miserable deaths long before reaching old age. Meanwhile, many life-saving therapies and products have been suppressed. And it has. Check out the books on the side here. These books over here talk about cancer cures and everything. You gotta get them. You gotta read up on it. You'll know that there's cures out there that don't cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and don't destroy your immune system and while it's trying to kill the cancer off. Many life-saving therapies, and a few of these include infection can be eliminated inexpensively and effectively without the use of antibiotics. And it's true. There's all types of stuff out there. Colloidal silver is one of them. It costs pennies for that. Alright, cardiovascular health can usually be restored without dangerous and expensive surgery. Dozens of effective and inexpensive cancer cures are known. Type 1 juvenile onset diabetes can be overcome without insulin. Alzheimer's disease can even be reversed inexpensively. Because if it's aluminum causing it, it's considered a heavy metal in your system. And all you have to do is detox yourself. That's all you have to do. Use a detox system. It pulls all these metals out of you, like mercury and everything. And you'll be a lot more. I can go on to the next page and you can see more, but I think that's sufficient for this particular article. I need to check something here. Okay, I guess that's it. I'll show you the great photo of the week, and here's a great photo. Now that's a cabbage. Look at that size of that thing. Is that on the west coast or something? Has that thing been irradiated by Fukushima? Really? I mean, look at that. Awesome. And you got your humor for this week. You got the World War III project. Something to read about. What is required for membership in Freedom Force. Get to read about that. And that's it for this week. You've seen it. The Unfiltered News from the Reality Zone, compiled by G. Edward Griffin. For this week of September 28th through October 4th. I hope you do have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to go out and try to get some things done today. Just went ahead and did this video to get this newsletter done for the week, to get the information out there that you need to know. And hope you enjoy Welcome to Obamaville, because that's what the whole country has become. Obamaville. Yes, you too can be ruled by the dictator abomination. This guy is he's a work of art. He's a liar and a work of art. Never seen anything like him. Just all this stuff. Oh well, I'm going to get off here. Be good at it, and have a wonderful day.